Still very technical, John. I'm from the old school, you know that. So, John, can you please tell us about your what you have now? What kind of guitar you have?
Yeah, so this is my one and only daily driver out of 9.
So what you're saying is your go-to guitar?
Yeah, this is my go-to guitar. It's the one that stays right next to my desk whenever I play. So, like, it's the one that gets all the string changes, all the modifications. Even though it's not my most expensive, it's my daily driver.
Of course. You gotta have one at least in your collection. And what model is it?
It's a PRS-SE 24 standard,
right?
But with a lot of modifications.
Sure. SE, we don't know what that stands for.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
Special edition, standard edition.
Exactly. I've been seeing a lot of those at the Guitar Center.
Oh yeah, been very popular lately. So.
Yes, and I believe they are 24 frets.
Yeah, this one has the 24 frets. You can tell on PRS's when it got 24 frets. When you see all the way over here, it has the owl.
An owl.
Yeah, if it doesn't have an owl like right here, that's not a 24 fret. If you don't see an owl.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So you have the owl in there?
Yeah, it's right there.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Hooting and hollering.
If we can zoom into that owl later.
Zoom in on that owl right there.
After the interview.
You got that.
And I didn't know that, John. I'm sorry. I'm like 30 years behind. I only own 22 frets guitar in my whole life.
I'm not a shredder either, but, it's 24. I could read it. I could.
Right.
Maybe.
Right. And I think on the 24 fret, is that the highest E?
I would say so.
Right. I have no knowledge about frets. You can probably ask Miguel on that.
That dude I think he has a 26. A 26? 26 fret.
My goodness, 26 fret. That's too much for me.
Yeah, it's just an extra little thing right there. Yeah.
As you were showing me that guitar earlier, the back is shaped.
Oh yeah.
Can you tell me the story on that, John?
So if you can see this, it's satin.
Satin?
Yeah, I took some Scotch-Brite to it. Because if you look at it's the other guitar I own. I have the PRS-SE Mark Holcomb signature.
Right.
The really like metal guitar.
What group is he from?
He's from my favorite band currently, Periphery.
Periphery.
Yeah.
Are they American or English?
They're American. And also Mark Holcomb's Filipino, just like me. So.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah.
A very talented man.
Yeah. So his guitar has if you look on the back, like it's not really like a satin finish. They actually like scrub it. So I did the exact same thing. So like I taped off everything, scrubbed it out because like my hands are very sweaty. I have Palmero hyperhidrosis, which is a very.
You know what, John? I think we are the same.
Yeah, it's
probably because
affects 1 in every 10 dudes.
Oh, I see what you mean. Well, let me tell you, in my case, because back in my country, we eat a lot of pork.
Oh yeah, it triggers the gout too.
Exactly, man. So reason my hands are sweaty too.
Yeah. So yeah, my hands get really sweaty. I used to be a Les Paul player, so my Les Paul still has the glossy neck to this day, just because like it's kind of have a sentimental value. My dad bought me that after I had my first gig. He said like, "You're serious? Okay, then we'll get you something nice to play."
Oh my goodness! So your dad played in bands too?
No, he was more like a soloist. He was kind of he played guitar on his off time, and then he would always like hold parties at his house, like with his friends. They would all eat and drink and play music.
Of course.
Yeah. So.
Is your dad? I mean, does he like San Miguel beer?
Yeah, he does. Well, he used to. He's not a drinker anymore.
Oh, I see. I mean, I drink occasionally, but my favorite is Qingdao. Have you heard of Qingdao, John?
Yeah, I hear it's an Asian beer. It sounds like it.
Okay. I have tried San Miguel beer and I really like it. I really like it.
It's quite good. It sneaks up on you.
Right. Exactly, John. The reason why you shave the neck because you have sweaty hands.
Yeah, so I needed to glide somehow, and then like after it's like I like guitars that had glossy necks, but then I hated the glossy neck. You see where I'm getting at? So like Les Pauls, these things, the custom 24s and stuff like that, they had like mostly glossy necks. So
on the PRS.
Yeah, like the US made ones and also these came stock with a glossy neck and I hated it.
Sure. So you had to shave. What materials did you use to shave the back of it?
You can use just like regular like like the Scotch Brite that you use in your house to clean dishes.
What you mean. What grade?
Oh dang! I don't even know what grade it is, but like people do like to use like the quadruple zero freaking like they try to sound all cool like just use like quadruple zero steel wool and then like it'll feel absolutely amazing. Like dude, like you can do it with like anything just as long as you don't overdo it.
Of course.
So you could like just as long as you don't do it with like 120 grit sandpaper or something.
Yeah.
Just like regular Scotch Brite or the red Scotch Brite, or if you ever used a surf prep before, that works.
Sure.
Anything that's around 600 to 800 grit.
Right.
Like just as long as you don't overdo it, just get it until it gets to that sheen uniformly across the neck, and then it should be fine.
I see what you mean. I think as long as the brightness goes away, I think you should be fine.
Yeah. That's pretty much in general. Just as long as the finish.
Or the glossiness, right?
Yeah. Just go by feel.
Exactly.
Should be fine. Just don't use an orbital sander, please.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Take it from John, ladies and gentlemen. He's a very professional. And tell me about the months that you have done on that guitar.
Oh, there's a bunch. I have a hip shot open ear locking tuners over here. I also have if it can just like split this over, it's making some noise. You can see there's a tuner attached to the actual tuning pegs right here. There's a tuner right here. So like it's actually attached to the tuning peg, so like it doesn't leave my headstock. So there's that.
So how do you use the tuner in the back?
Oh, you just press the button right here, and then it turns on. See that? You can see it right there.
Right, but I see. So you are looking on the side of the tuner.
Yeah. So like if you ever like see me play, because I don't gig anymore. I'm starting to jam with like as a bassist, but then we'll get to that later.
Of course.
Yeah, you can see me like play, and then I'll just like press it with my thumb back here. It doesn't even look like I'm doing anything.
What tuner are you using on that? The one that you have attached in the back.
Oh, it's it's like the small D'Addario clip lock tuner. Yeah, it's a D'Addario.
Did I say it right, John? D'Addario.
It's like D'Addario. Dairy.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm getting you should understand, John.
Yeah.
D'Addario. Of course.
Whatever that is, but yeah.
But it's very smart of you doing that to your guitar, John.
Yeah, I mean, if it's the one that you pick up all the time and you need to like tune it all the time, like why not have it like permanently on the head?
Sure.
But yeah, there's like a bunch of mods on it.
Of course. Yeah, tell us. I know I talk too much. Go ahead.
All right, so on the back also you can see. I should just like freaking like, whatever.
Go ahead.
But yeah, on the back, my output jack needs a little bit of fixing. But yeah, on the back you can see a little USB port here. It has a battery pack that I recharge with any USB charger.
So you mean internally it has a battery?
Yeah. And I actually had to route it out on the inside.
A little bit.
Yeah, I had to actually dig into the side to actually slot it in there because it's like a little tiny battery. Slot it in there. So it powers these Fishman Fluence pickups. These are the Keith Merrow signature set. They don't make these anymore.
Keith Morrison?
Keith Merrow.
Merrow.
Like bone marrow.
Okay, Keith Merrow.
But yeah, he's like a modern metal guy. He's like one of those YouTube guitarists.
Oh, I see what you mean, Keith Merrow. I think I saw him on YouTube.
Yeah, he has a signature model, the Schecter KM6, the Keith Merrow.
Is he the guy who wears the beanie?
I think he does because he's bald now. Right? He used to have like long hair, but then it was sort of bald up top. But yeah, he's I got these just specifically because I don't like very high output pickups because these are actually medium. Just so it doesn't distort so much. I'd rather do that with a boost. So it's medium. It's tight on the low end, and it actually has 3 voices.
Oh, 3 voicing effect.
Yeah, there's 3 voicings. It's very, very subtle because it's very hard to pick out when you have a lot of distortion. So this would be voice 1. It's very it's tight. Let's see. And then this is voice 2. You'll notice very slightly more of an open bass boost. Voice 1. Tighter, right?
I did notice the difference, John.
Yeah, it's actually it's subtle to most people, but then if you got the ear, then you got the ear. Yeah. But yeah, the coil split actually does sound more like single coils. Right? So
Right.
Sounds more like single coils than any other type of pickup that I heard that has a split. So I think that's what the real advantage of having Fishmans is, at least to me, is that the voicings are very precise and very consistent.
Of course. So. And you do have a switch on the body, right?
Oh, yeah. There's 2 switches right here. The normal coil split right here. That's what everyone knows.
I see what you mean.
The other switch is right here. It's on this one. That's what does the voice 1, voice 2. It's there's 2 push-pull pots. So.
Wow, I'm very impressed that you didn't do any routing on the body.
Yeah.
Basically, it's a push-pull pots.
Yeah.
On the volume knob and the tone knob, right?
Yeah.
Am I correct, John?
Yeah. Usually it's just a tone knob, but then this one's got push pulls on both. So.
I'm very impressed with the clean sound.
Oh yeah, that's
What model is that on the amp? Can you please tell us, John?
So the amp that I'm using, the thing that you see here is just the Headrush FRFR unit. So it's just kind of like a PA speaker. But what I have right here, you don't see it on the floor, but it's actually on my phone. You see this? There's a picture of a Neural DSP Nano Cortex. So the clean sound, just right here, is actually a capture of my 5150's clean channel. Because I have a EVH 5150 on.
A 5150 channel, is that the independent volume on each channel?
Yeah, it is.
Very nice.
Yeah, so it has a pretty decent clean channel. So whenever you're playing nice big chords, it sounds really nice, and I do have captures of an actual Fender Deluxe Reverb on here that I just did last week, but I haven't tweaked them yet.
Whose Fender amp is that?
Oh, it's my buddy Jeff's.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, hey, I brought my load box and my Nano Cortex. Can you capture your amp? He's like, sure. So I was just upstairs, having it do its little thing where it makes little weird noises, and then there you go. I got a real Fender Deluxe Reverb.
Because I think Fender Deluxe Reverb is known for its clean tone. Right?
Yeah, especially for that Midwest emo
Definitely.
sound.
Definitely.
Yeah, or if you like using pedals, which Contrary to popular belief, I do have analog pedals. If you like to use that, yeah, I use that. I use that on the Cortex and also on my amp as well.
There is nothing wrong using analog pedals.
Oh, there completely isn't, because I mean I kept all the best ones that I feel that should be kept. So,
Right.
It's my own personal collection.
Jonathan, can you tell us, especially the old school players out there, and how do you capture a sound of a real tube amp?
Okay, so how you capture a real tube amp, like if you have like say like a Kemper, a Tonex, or what I'm using right now is a Neural DSP Quad Cortex. No, not Quad Cortex, Nano Cortex. It's a little tiny one.
When you say tiny, is it like does it have the same presets, the same what do you call it, engine?
Yeah, it has the same audio engine. It doesn't hold as many amps and like presets, but then I mean, like they give you 20 stock captures, and then you can capture your own stuff without even using any external hardware. But if it's with a tube amp, you need extra hardware. So what you do is that you attach your tube amp, then hook it up to a reactive load box, which like when you operate tube amps, you should be having a cabinet attached to it, or else it's going to cause permanent damage. So
exactly, especially if the amp is tube.
Yeah, so it needs to go to a reactive load box to get all of that energy and disperse it into heat. So it disperses it into heat, and it brings the signal down to line level. So I could take it over to like your recording console, your audio interface, or like this, like the Nano Cortex with the capture technology. You could plug it into that, or your Kemper, or your Tonex capture thing that they have externally, and then run the program, and then
sure
it pretty much copies whatever it does.
Right. So so you do own a tube amp in a real cabinet, right?
Yeah. I have the EVH 5150 50 watt version 2 with the dual concentric pots, and then my cab is actually it has two speakers. It's a 212, two speakers that I actually really enjoy. There's a V30, but it has to have like that. It has to have the center dust cover that is supposed to be on the V30s that you would see from like early 90s up to mid 2000s, and then they switched over manufacturing, and then it had like this weird dust cover that made it sound like kind of average and not like really like beefy like how it should be. I got it after that, and then I also have a Celestian Creamback.
Okay, I see. So what you were saying is you had to change the speakers of your EVH cabinet.
Yeah, it had greenbacks in it, and I didn't like it.
Oh, it had greenbacks.
Yeah, I hated it.
Okay. well, can you tell us why you didn't like the greenback? Because I think greenbacks are known for its 60s tone.
I know, for a 60s tone, but then I play modern metal. So the thing is that like, okay, V30s, like they have that big low end scooped, naturally like that, but creambacks have that really balanced sound. So like once you put them together and they're coming out of like a pine cab, then sounds freaking amazing.
I see what you mean. But
also high headroom. I don't like greenbacks because of the low headroom. Breaks up too early. I'm not a speaker breakup / power amp breakup type of dude that sounds like a fart, at least in my opinion.
I see. But I think both speakers should have the same speaker load, right? Correct?
Yeah.
If I'm wrong.
Yeah. In total, my speaker impedance for that cabinet is 16.
16. So
yeah.
So both should be in the same ohm.
Yeah.
Ohm or ohms, right?
Well, not necessarily. I forgot how it's supposed to go, but then like if like doing the math, it's like comparing that if it's like wired parallel or in series, the impedance changes. So you have to do the math that way instead of like, oh well, two 16 ohm speakers is 16 ohms. It's not really that simple. So,
right.
yeah.
So the wiring should be correct.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you might damage your tube.
Yeah, sort of. Not really. Just as long as there's an impedance load on the amp.
Gotcha.
Like just as long as it's not 2 notches. Like say like 4 ohm.
You might damage your tube.
Yeah, sort of. Not really. Just as long as there's an impedance load on the amp.
Gotcha.
Like just as long as it's not 2 notches. Like say like 4 ohm head, 16 ohm cab, and so forth. If it's like 8 ohm head impedance going into a 16 ohm cab, it's okay. Going into a 4 is okay. I mean, not a 4, a 6. But then not like a, yeah. Or whatever, like, just like 1 notch ahead or behind, at least from what I hear or what I read. But then
it should be fine.
Yeah, I just err on the side of caution. Everybody does.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Guys, you should do your homework. And, and take it from John. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing quite good. Quite good.
Quite good. It's a Saturday.
Yeah.
We should have a long weekend. Hey, thanks for coming in.
There's no problem.
John, Oliver speaks highly of you.
He does.
Yeah, and he said that you are very smart with musical instruments.
Oh, well.
He told me about that.
Yeah.
And you know what? I have a natural finish Fender strap.
Okay.
Okay. And I am a big fan of Jimi Hendrix.
Oh, yeah.
The reason why I have a picture of Jimi Hendrix here, because back in my heyday, he was very popular.
Oh, yeah.
Still to this day. Do you agree with me, John?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Because he did the Star Spangled Banner.
Yeah, like as much as I enjoyed it, like I could only imagine how crazy that setup sounded right next to you. Would have gone deaf.
I imagine it's very, very loud.
Yeah, very loud. He's using a plexi, doesn't he?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Man, those things when they're cranked, like, sound so sick, but also, oh my goodness, like, if you ever wanted to pierce your ears.
Right. those are the ones.
Yeah, those are the ones to do it. Sonically.
Right. Back in my country, it's very popular. In Vietnam. I am from Hanoi, by the way, John.
Not from Saigon?
You're not from Saigon.
Oh, okay.
Have you heard of Lea Salonga, John?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Did you see the movie Miss Saigon?
I knew you were going to ask that. No, I haven't.
No, me neither.
No, I haven't.
Jonathan, tell me, I have some notes here.
Okay, sure.
Oliver wrote this for me. So then ask you.
So what do you say?
And how old were you when you first picked up the guitar?
I would say I think I was 12. So the story behind that was that like my sister wanted to learn acoustic guitar, but then it's just like the typical complaint when you really want to learn guitar, but then you don't get past that hump where you get your calluses and it hurts. Like that's where a lot of people give up.
Right.
They think it hurts too much. They think it's going to be forever. But then once you get past that, that's when the magic happens. And
right.
She didn't get past it. So acoustic guitar was sitting there for like about a year or so. I told my dad I want to be a rock star. He said you need to learn how to play that first.
Right.
Because when you're a parent, that's an investment on your kid if you buy a guitar.
Definitely.
So I had to learn how to play Everything I Do It For You by Bryan Adams.
Wow.
I don't know how to play it anymore, but I had to.
You forgot already.
Yeah, I forgot. I just needed it to get my first electric guitar.
After learning that song.
Yeah.
It's a very good song, John.
Yeah, you know what? I'll relearn it one of these days.
Of course.
Yeah.
Wow. And that sounds like you came from a musical family.
Sorta. Like my dad was, he just picked up the guitar to like play songs. He learned songs, play songs, and then like whenever he and his buddies would get together over in the Philippines, like they all got together. You know, you drink, you have fun, but then you know, TV and stuff is expensive. So if you have a guitar, that's how you do it. You play music.
For sure.
And you guys play along with each other, sing. It's pretty much the same in Vietnam, I bet.
Right. Was your dad in the service before?
Yes, he was. My mom was also a nurse.
Oh, a nurse.
So
what a
it's the thing, you know. Dad's in the Navy, mom's a nurse.
Right.
Or in the Postal Service.
Right. It's a perfect match.
Yeah.
Guaranteed you have an income.
Yep.
Steady income every month, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Nothing wrong with joining the military.
Yep.
Even my dad told me to join the Navy.
My dad told me too, but
he didn't.
Yeah, you wanted to be a rock star too.
I guess we are in the same boat.
Yep. Jumped off of it too. Anyway.
You are absolutely right. Okay, John. Let me do this first. So let me ask you, John. Are you of Filipino descent?
Yes, I am.
You know what, John? I used to play with a lot of great Filipinos, you know, and I used to be in a band with if you know, maybe your dad knows Pete Mendoza.
Pete Mendoza.
Yeah.
I never heard of him.
He lives down in Bonita.
Oh, okay.
Right. Anyways, we used to play "Wonderful Tonight."
Oh, dang. Eric Clapton, classic.
Clapton, yeah. So I had to learn the live version, John.
Oh, dang.
Note for note. Filipinos love that song.
Oh yeah,
very much.
It's kind of like if he hands a random Filipino on the side of the road an acoustic guitar, they automatically learn how to play "Tears in Heaven" for some reason.
and that one too.
That's like the second Filipino national anthem at that point. But yeah.
By the way, that song is very hard to play.
Oh. Yeah.
Well, not that hard, but you have to play it right.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
Okay. Right, John. You know where I'm coming from.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
Okay, John. Well, back to you. John, did you pick up the guitar to impress the girls, or you just want to be a rock star? Please tell us.
Okay. That's kind of like a yes or no question, but I'll give you a little story about that.
Go ahead.
So, you know, when you're in high school, you want to impress people. Because I was one of those, like, you know, one of those outcast kids. They, like, not really accepted by, you know, the popular kids. So when you're like that, you're bound to find punk music.
Of course.
But then when you also want to find love, you find emo, right? So pop punk and emo music. You wanna do that kind of stuff.
Of course.
You pick up the electric guitar, and like it's kind of like when you're growing up in the 90s, like you're kind of raised on love songs, right?
Definitely.
You listen to like a lot of those, like, you know, like the soft rock station during the 90s. Just like I said, I learned everything I do it for you by Bryan Adams. You're kind of like formed like that. So you listen to love songs, but then, you know, you're a teenager, you're edgy, you want some of that cool like rock sound. So like I was into pop punk and emo back in the day, and then like I wanted to be a rock star, and then, you know, getting girls is a byproduct, but then like it wasn't really about that anymore because I formed my own band. It was about the music.
Sure.
At that point. So whatever came afterwards was whatever came afterwards, but then like that's what really was it. Like I love playing in front of crowds. Like I used to do like guitar spins, like freaking like put strap locks on it and just like swing it around my body and bringing like all that stuff and like just do like, you know, just like slamming power chords, having fun as a teenager. So like after all that, yeah, it was like at first it was like, oh, it's cool, like what was it called? Maybe I'll fall in love, to straight up like, you know what, like music is fun, I love it. I want to keep doing this. So like it went from one thing to another.
Of course. And do you remember how old you were?
13.
30.
Yeah, so 13, like me and my buddies in junior high, we formed a band. We were called Loser by Default. It's so funny.
Sure.
But yeah, like it was like a pop punk band, you know, stereotypical slamming power chords,
sure.
four chord progressions, and
right.
But it was so fun.
Sure.
So fun.
And thanks for mentioning power chords.
Oh yeah.
Power chords rule. Sure.
So fun.
And thanks for mentioning power chords.
Oh yeah.
Power chords rule.
Yeah, power chords rule. But then, you know, modern metal guys, single strings.
Did you take lessons or learn by ear?
I learned by ear for most of my life, because I mean that's how you do it back in the day. And then you know the internet started to become more prominent, and then you learn tablature.
Definitely.
So
I am with you, John.
Yeah.
I like tablature.
Yeah, tablature is easy, and then later on I tried learning theory, but then like my attention span is pretty short. So, like, you could stick a YouTube video in front of me all day long, and I'm just gonna be like,
Right.
Yeah.
It's right there in front of you.
Yeah.
You don't want to spend your time like this, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like, when can I noodle?
I know. You want to noodle right away.
Yeah, I'm not a noodler, I'm more of a chugger. But yeah,
Oh, chugger. There is nothing wrong about chugger.
Yeah.
As long as you do it right.
Yeah.
And John, who is your inspiration on the guitar?
Oh man, there's the question. I was thinking about that on the drive on the way over here. But yeah, at first, you know, when you're growing up, like you listen to Journey. So Neil Schon, what was definitely one of them. Even though I know how he's kind of in terms of attitude. But yeah, you know, like you hear Slash, you hear like, you know, Jimmy Page and like Jimi Hendrix,
yeah,
and like stuff like that. Like you learn that as a kid because they're legends, you know.
Of course.
And then as I grow up, there's legends for me. So
definitely,
like in the pop punk scene, like I loved listening to Newfound Glory. That was like my first favorite band that I found on my own when I was a kid.
Newfound Glory.
Yeah, Newfound Glory.
Newfound Glory.
Yeah, so they had Chad Gilbert. He was like mainly their lead, and then now he's the only guitarist. They used to have two, but then he's the only guitarist on there. He played like pretty decent leads, good rhythm. It's always fun listening to pop punk. But then like after that, I started listening to hardcore. Like, and then there was like Double Earth Prada. Like they had really sick rhythm tones,
right?
And like just like straight up like rhythm stuff. So there's that, and then afterwards I took like a really long break from guitar. I came back around 2017, 2018. So like in between 2008 to 2017, 2018,
sure.
10 years I stopped playing. Right?
Like
yeah.
Wow.
10 years I stopped playing and then I come back, right?
And how did you come back?
It was like a difficult time in my life, like emotionally. It was like during my college years and stuff like that. Like everybody has like those types of years where like you either cherish them or then or it's also like very formative, like character building type stuff where like I am who I am now because of it, but then I don't want to get into it. But then like after that, it's like I found music again by listening to modern metal. Yeah. So I found I was like, man, I used to love hardcore bands when I was in like the mid 2000s. Like, what is the next evolution of this? And then I found the new like modern metal type stuff. So
sure,
their guitars sound so good.
Of course.
Because like back in the day, I used to love this band called Under Oath, and then they kind of like changed the benchmark of like how bands are recorded they sounded so clean and so precise. You could hear everything. And then now, like you hear like bands like Periphery, Monuments, Era, and then even like the bands I used to listen to before that are making comebacks today, like they adopted that kind of sound where everybody sounds like very good and very polished. So I was like, wow, this is like, I listened to Periphery for the first time, and I was like, these guitars are freaking sick, and I don't think I would ever be able to play these until I practice.
Sure.
Right? And then, I was like, man, their guitar tone is freaking crushing. How do you get that? And then that's where I got into, digital modeling. That's where I found, there is a higher ground, higher than the mid-2000s hardcore scene. Right. Modern progressive metal sounds so good and so precise that, I want that.
Sure.
So I started playing again, and then now I got 9 guitars and Axe Effects and freaking Nano Cortex. Right. But yeah, that's pretty much how.
And let me ask you, you mentioned about learning Bryan Adams. What song was that again?
Oh, everything I do it for you.
Yeah. Exactly, man. From the movie, right?
Yeah, from the Robin Hood movie with Kevin Costner.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For the kids, I think you should watch that film.
I think there's a nudity scene in there.
Be careful. Bring your parents with you. Rated PG. John, what was your first guitar?
Oh, my first guitar. I think it was if you want to talk about my acoustic guitar,
right?
It was the Yamaha players pack that you get from the Navy Exchange.
Wow.
So that's the first guitar that I laid hands on and started using.
From the Navy Exchange.
Yeah.
32nd or Miramar?
32nd. Yeah, if you want to talk about the actual guitar that was bought for me, that's
by your dad.
Yeah, by my dad. It wasn't the Les Paul. That one was oh, you're serious, you need something nice.
We're gonna go back to your Les Paul later.
Yeah, we'll go back to my Les Paul. It was a Ibanez GSA 20. It's of course it's a Geo model, budget build, right?
Oh, Geo.
Yeah, it was an Ibanez Geo, dual humbuckers.
Right.
And then, of course, me and my dad were a bunch of modders. We can't leave things stock. That's just me and my dad.
Oh my God!
Right?
You have a very good relationship with your dad.
Yeah. So that thing got loaded with EMG 81 and 85.
Oh my goodness! An Ibanez Geo with EMGs in it.
Yup.
What a cool combination.
Yeah.
John.
That thing sounded amazing, but then I bet if I touched it with the standards that I have today, I'd probably hate it. But
why is that?
It sounded killer back in the day because my first amp was a Line 6 Spider 100 212. 212s of absolute trash. But you know what?
Right.
It did the job.
Guys, look for a used Line 6 Spider.
Yeah, probably $30. $30, I bet.
And they're still out there.
The first one.
Very cool. Good to hear that, John.
Yeah.
I was expecting a Fender Squire.
Oh.
But this time it's an Ibanez. Very cool. Good to hear that, John.
Yeah.
I was expecting a Fender Squire.
Oh.
But this time it's an Ibanez.
That's what I was begging my dad, I want the Squire. He's like, no. We're gonna go to this music store right here in Chula Vista, and you're gonna pick something.
Your dad told you that?
Yeah, because he just didn't want to drive anywhere else. He went to the only music store that he's at, and I'm like, that one looks edgy and black. I'm buying that one.
Did you go to Harper's Music?
You know what? I think it was. I think that it was the store in downtown Chula Vista. I forgot what that place was.
Oh, downtown Chula Vista.
Yeah, it's on 3rd. I think.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
somewhere around there.
Of course. I love downtown Chula Vista. It reminded me of when I first came here in America.
So let's dial this back again.
So John, tell us about your amp.
Oh, this thing? Yeah, so what I'm currently using is this is a little tiny Headrush FRFR Go.
FRFR Go. Does it have a built-in amp in it?
No, it's
an FRFR.
Yeah, it's a FRFR, full range flat response speaker. So it's good for the new guitar stuff like Axe FX or like Neural DSP, Quad Cortex or Nano Cortex, the Helix, Tonex.
I am surprised that you didn't bring your FR10 by Fender.
Oh yeah, because it's still too big. Yeah, like
This is the garage is a little big, Jared.
Yeah, it is, but you know what? Like, good things come in small packages.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I'm what's it called? What do they say? Grower, not a shower, or I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter the size of the amp, just as long as I am happy.
Yes.
Yeah, as long as I'm happy with like the sound and like you know what, like yeah, you heard it.
I am very impressed.
Yeah, it's quite impressive. Like, I really love how this thing I could just like. It's not even plugged into anything.
Right. So it has a volume, treble, middle, and bass, right?
Actually, it's input volume, bass, treble, and master. So the thing is that when you're using an FRFR, a lot of your stuff is already dialed in, right? It's already a finished sound per se.
With your modeler.
Yeah, with your modeler. So like you were using it with like your in-ears, your headphones, or like your studio monitors. The thing that I tell people when you're using something like that, like an FRFR, like make sure that it's neutral when you plug in your stuff, because you already heard what your sound is coming out of like a studio monitor, right? You use the EQ on this to tune it to the room. You're not tuning it to your ear. Well, you're tuning it to your ear, but yeah, you got to tune it to your room because like different rooms provide different acoustics. So if it doesn't sound like you remember it, it needs more bass, add bass. If it feels like you got your high end rolled off, add treble. So yeah, just use it like that. And if it sounds like right, then that's how you dial it in on the FRFR.
Let me ask you, John. So since it's an FRFR, and you mentioned earlier, put it in neutral, you said?
Yeah, you put the EQ flat. In this case, this one is actually you start from 0 and then you add.
So you go from there.
Yeah, on the Fender FR10. It has a detent on the 12 o'clock. So
you have that notch.
Yeah, it's boost and cut, like just like my bass, boost and cut.
Exactly, but on this one you start from 0.
Yeah, you start from 0 and then you go from there. Like the way that this is dialed in, completely different when it's dialed in at home.
Cool, very nice, John. So so everything starts from 0.
Yep.
And okay, from your guitar, right? It goes straight to your Quad Cortex.
This one's a Nano Cortex, actually.
The Nano, I'm sorry.
Yeah, this is my newest toy. Everyone at work knows that. Like, I dabble in every single major digital modeler, right? This is my newest toy because I miss my amp. Like, yeah, you heard it. I miss my amp. Okay.
My amp, come back, please.
I miss my amp because you know, like, as much as I like to make fun of people for being too attached to their gear or trying to like justify like their purchases and stuff like that. Like, oh yeah, like, well, the pedal doesn't sound as good, and then like, oh, these digital artifacts that I think I could hear. Like, you know, I miss stuff like that too, but I also like the health of my back. So,
But John, I am older than you.
yeah, so I miss my amp. I know what my amp sounds like. I know what my pedal sounds like compared to a Helix. Like my Earthquaker Devices Plumes is a little hotter than what it was like on the Helix, or my Tube Screamer is not as hot as this on the Helix, or my full tone OCD.
Sure.
I prefer the one that sounds like on the Fractal versus the one on the Helix versus my pedal, because the one that they modeled, they based off of the one that they own.
Dave,
so yeah,
from Repair.
yeah. So that like,
Dave, are you listening, Dave?
So like everybody likes to feel like they have like their special thing, and then mine is my amp. I love my amp, right?
What is your main amp, by the way?
The EVH 5153 version 2 50 watt with a dual concentric pots. Like that thing, especially that blue channel's magic.
Definitely.
Yeah, because it's a really nice crunch. You can get in a high gain, and then once you boost it, it's a very, very articulate high gain metal sound versus, you know, just put it on the red channel and gain it out. No. Like an aggressive crunch with a boost in front of it, like beats the crap out of any like cranking of the gain or anything like that. Super articulate, very expressive. Like I love that amp to death, and I wanted to capture that in a way that's like, it's not like, you know, they have digital models of it on the Helix, on the Fractal, but I want a true capture of the one that I have.
Let me ask you, John. So you are definitely like the blue channel.
Yeah.
When you are capturing it, are you using a boost pedal with it?
I have captures with a boost pedal in front of it, and my own personal ones too. So in my Nano Cortex that I have, that I just got, I have the blue channel in a crunch setting, one with more gain, and then on top of that, it has either the Earthquaker Devices Plumes or
that is the boost.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that, and then the Horizon Devices Precision Drive. So that one in particular is for down-tuned guitars and 7 strings.
Gotcha. So no standard tuning.
Yeah, I do standard tuning also. Like, I mean,
for all the people out there who are still old school.
Yeah. So for old school,
you know who you are.
So for old school, like what I would do is that like I would have it on a nice crunch, and I would still boost it, but then on the plumes is actually a Tube Screamer circuit.
Sure.
But
TS9.
Yeah, like a TS9, but then it has more output volume, and then the tone control doesn't lop off the low end. So you don't have to like feel like, oh yeah, I hate Tube Screamers because it does the Tube Screamer thing where it takes the low end off, right? So it actually has like a more open bottom end, so like I could boost it and still have that girth that you need.
Which model is this again?
Oh, the Earthquaker Devices Plumes.
Send me a link. Send me a link.
So like you know what else is really good about that? It's 3 pedals in one.
Are you freaking serious?
Yeah. So if you want like a Marshall crunch tone, that's mode 1. Mode 2 is actually like a fully clean boost with like pretty much like twice the output of a regular Tube Screamer, and then the third mode is a Tube Screamer with twice the output and a very good like tone knob to go with it. So
wow.
Yeah, and all for the price of like a Tube Screamer. It's like 100 something.
So it tightens the sound. Yeah,
it tightens the sound. That's actually like my main the tone that I've been using like when I was like playing. That's actually a more aggressive.
So that is the pedal.
Yeah.
With the EVH blue channel.
Yeah, you hear some of that low end in there?
Of course, buddy.
Yeah.
Play more, please. Play more.
So.
not a fan of the red channel of your EVH?
If I want to sound like
Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah, if I want that super like gained out thing, like it's kind of like so gained out that like like you just turn it up to like 2 and it's like too much. It's already making like so much noise.
So much gain.
Yeah. So like the blue channel, like everyone who knows like, hey, what do you think of the EVH 5150? They're like, if you're talking about the 50-watt blue channel, that thing is straight up magic. And like every time I like show my other friends that, it's all like, oh yeah, that's a sick crunch sound. And then I'm like, watch when I boost it, super articulated, nice and tight, really good. So yeah.
Take it from John.
I was trying to help Miguel
Right.
with his quad cortex because he wants a real clean channel on his 5150 block letter.
I'm not sure about the PB.
Yeah, the PV.
The PB.
Yeah, the thing that has 2 dirt channels.
There is no clean channel on that.
There's no clean channel on that. So yeah, I was trying to help my friend Miguel with getting capture.
You mean using that amp?
Yeah. So
and so how do you do that?
How to capture an amp?
I mean, how can you achieve a clean channel out of that PB?
You basically go in through the effects return, and then use you route it in the quad cortex with a preamp capture of a clean amp. So I'm basically giving him a copy of my clean preamp without the power section, so it could go to his amp into his power section and come out as a clean.
So where is your clean coming from?
It's coming from the quad cortex straight.
Ah.
Yeah. So you can do that with any of the modelers out there. I could do it with like an HX Stomp. I could do it with one of these Nano Cortexes. I could do it with a small little tiny Tonex. You could capture just the preamp section of any amp if you could do it, because I mean I can't do it with a Fender Deluxe Reverb. Like it doesn't have an effects loop. If it has an effects loop, then you can capture just the preamp portion.
It's really hard for an amp with no effects loop, huh?
No. You need a load box. The load box would pretty much like take the cab load off of the amp so it doesn't damage itself, but also brings it down to line level, and then you capture it that way.
Can you recommend a good load box brand?
I could recommend a few. Well, there's three. Okay, so if you love your amp, you want an attenuator, and you want something to capture like amps with, if you have a Tonex or a Nano Cortex or something like that, you get the Boss Waza tube amp expander.
Good. That is very expensive.
They came out with a new one that's $700, the small one.
A lower end.
Yeah, and then it also gives you effects, so that's cool. It also has its own power amp, 30-watt power amp. So if you want to have like a small little power amp, you use that. The other most popular one, Surrey Active Load Box. It's super simple, just one knob, a little bit of inputs in the back, takes the load off of that, and then the two notes captor X or the 2 notes captor, whichever impedance box that you need for your amp. I have a 2 notes captor 16, so I use one of those, and then just plug it into my quad cortex for cable method. Nano Cortex, and then just capture it. Makes a lot of weird noises, and then all of a sudden, like, I have it's almost 100%. I'd say like 95.
Sure.
Almost 100% replica of my amp's like spirit in that box, and it's pretty cool.
Right. I know we are running out of time, but John, so you are using your EVH through a gold box.
Yeah.
And not using your cabinet.
Yeah, I'm not using my cabinet. I'm using an impulse response. The IRs, like I'm pretty sure everyone who uses digital knows what those are. It's actually kind of like the same as mine. It's actually the one that I'm using is made by Zilla. It's a European company. They also have a V30 in cream deck, which is like the two speakers that I really love personally.
Yeah, I think you did. We did cover that earlier.
Yeah.
So, in your opinion, those are it's a good combination.
Yeah, it's a very good combination. They use what was it called? A Shure SM57 and I think like a Warrior 121 to capture the two at like a very good position. Like I don't know what position that they put it on. Probably like one on the edge of the cone and like one a little bit deeper and a little bit further. And then like just the blend of it's like really nice. Like I love how it sounds.
So going back to your load box, it kind of emulates a cabinet.
Yeah, it pretty much takes the energy from the amp that it needs to disperse because of all the wattage and the sound, and then it disperses it in the heat and brings it down the line level in order to be safely put into the box.
That is so amazing, John.
Yeah.
I need to see that in person. One of these days.
One of these days, I will capture your amp.
Yes, yes, exactly.
And then, if you ever get a Cortex, like you'll have it in digital form on your phone and in your device.
That will be down the line. Eventually.
Yeah, eventually.
Woo! What else do you have in your quad nano?
Quad nano majigger.
Yeah.
The thingy thing.
I keep forgetting.
The neural thingy, whatever that thing is. Yeah, I only have different captures of my amp in like different knob positions. I used to be not a believer in capture stuff.
Right.
But yeah, like you can see that it's all at noon right now, just because like that's the neutral of my amp. Like that's the 0 point. So if I need to add or I need to cut, like that's where it should be at. So that's where my knob positions were before. So it was captured at what was it, like low at 6, mid at 4.5, and then like kind of like slightly scooped because it's so mid forward.
Sure.
But then yeah, that's the 0 point right here. So if I need to add or subtract, like it's at pure neutral. So
right. So in a live situation, let's say if you want you're clean and you're dirty, right? That is very possible.
Yeah. So I made 3 different captures. So it's I do have the red channel in there, but then like my main preset has a clean, slight crunch, more of a rock crunch, and then the crunch that's boosted that turns it into a metal, like a really good like metal tone. So like those are like my 4 presets mainly.
It's very convenient to do this live, right?
Oh yeah, because I mean, you dial in everything like in your in-ears and stuff like that, and then you find the IR that's like the perfect pair. That's like this is the sound I want.
It sounds good. I'm really impressed.
Yeah, especially for like that tiny little thing. Sounds huge, right?
You know what? I think as a gigging guitarist, John, I think it's really important to know if the venue is gonna have a good PA.
Yeah.
Am I correct?
Yeah, because the cool thing about if you're like going digital is that if they have a shitty PA, that's where your amp is going to go through anyway. So yeah, like like basically like if you have a PA, you could dial in on the modeler itself, or you could dial in like on your own personal thing.
Yeah. For example, today, just right before you came, you asked me about if I have a good PA, but my PA is not that good. But if you have no choice, then you have nothing to go for, right?
Yeah, you can just like do any global EQs that you need to. If it doesn't sound that good, or if it's naturally like scooped, then you can add those frequencies in.
So you have to tweak.
Yeah, just a little bit. I mean, it's always a good idea when you use a modeler. Here's like a pro tip. I'm not a pro, but then like a good tip to have is that like when you're going to be going out and playing, you gotta have the extra EQ globally and your global volume. Yeah.
Global. Cool, man.
You tune to the venue. So.
Right. Cool.
Okay. Now I know what to play.
for your time, and
Okay.
I'm sure we will learn something out of this.
All right.
100%, John. Until next time, guys. Peace
Until next
out.
time. Sorry for not practicing.
It sounds good to me, John.
All right.